Derry manager Stephen Kenny welcomed new faces like Rory Higgins and Eamon Zayed to their ranks for a tough season opener. Stephen Alkin reports.
Nearly 4,000 in attendance and a very good game, a match that could have gone either way. Derry's first attack, Gareth McGlynn's cross, Eamon Zayed's header, easily stopped by his former Sporting Fingal teammate Brendan Clark. The FAI Cup holders had their moments too. John Dillon's free kick, the prodigious leap by Jason McGuinness, and a combination of crossbar and Barry Malloy kept the ball out. The Candy Stripes just a little fortunate here. Paul Cook's side had more of the possession and they were denied by the goal frame again. Irla Daverin's run and his cross eventually came back to John Russell. The shot had Ger Doherty beaten and Owen Doyle's cross was eventually scrambled away. Stephen Kenny has always encouraged his sides to play progressive football, and they should have gone ahead when McGlynn was fouled by his former Bohemians teammate Jason McGuinness. No doubt about the penalty decision, but Zayed couldn't beat Clark from the spot. What is it about Sligo Rovers goalkeepers and penalties? Derry City's attacking prowess should have had them ahead. Danny Lafferty's shot was well saved by Clark, and the old adage about scoring when you are ahead came back to haunt the home side, because 2 minutes from time, the two Sligo substitutes combined. Rafael Cortaro's cross and Aaron Green's finish, a dagger to the heart of Stephen Kenny's side, as Paul Cook's recent signings from Bohemians combined to give Rovers a great start to their league campaign. At the end, both sides could take positives from the game. It ended Derry City 0, Sligo Rovers 1.
You know, to get Derry away in your first game's a tough one. You know, but we've come up here, you know, it looked like it was going to be a draw. We're delighted to have nicked 3 points, because fair credit to Derry, they're a very good side, and they will cause a lot of teams problems this year, and they will be in the shake-up.
We just didn't take the few chances that we had, and we got punished by a very good finish from Aaron Green. It was a good finish, and we just got punished with that situation. But it's important that we bounce back from that, and you know, we show a good attitude this week and get ready for UCD next week.
A big, noisy crowd turned out for this one. Former Sligo man Gary McCabe made a return to the showgrounds. Managers Paul Cook and Michael O'Neill well used to each other at this stage. Eamon Donoghue has this report.
Conventional wisdom would suggest that last year the two Rovers served up a contrast in styles, and Shamrock Rovers relied on Route 1 to open the scoring. Gary O'Neill was denied. Gary McCabe was on hand to prod home. McCabe's last touch in a Sligo shirt last season saw him score a penalty at the Aviva. He's now got 2 and 2 for his new club. Despite being short the services of the unfit Josephine Doe, Sligo created plenty of chances and dominated for large parts. John Dillon and Alan Keane combined. John Russell was denied by Alan Mannis. Both Russell and Mannis had unsuccessful trials at Doncaster Rovers last season. And the midfielder had another chance, played away by Owen Doyle. His shot trickled agonisingly wide. Atmosphere building in the showgrounds, and the Rovers' goal leading a charmed life. Russell was again involved as he won a free kick on the edge of the box under Ken O'Mahon's challenge. Yellow card for the former Bohemians defender. The result saw a well-rehearsed routine involving Dillon, Russell and Doyle. But Shamrock Rovers once again survive. Doyle close to a first goal against his former club. A shrewd piece of business by Michael O'Neill, bringing the keeper back in for this season. Alan Keane, as we have so often seen in the past, was like an extra attacker on the night. And his deflected shot saw a further escape for the visitors. Shamrock Rovers' only other chance of note came after Gary Twiggs' penalty appeal fell on deaf ears. Closely marshalled by Gavin Pearce on the night, Twig took a tumble. Derek Tomlin not interested. It was now Sligo's turn to go long. Richie Ryan's delivery and a scramble involving McGuinness and Doyle saw Shamrock Rovers just about hang on thanks to some unconventional but effective defending. 1-0 the final score at the showgrounds, not the result the bulk of the 4,200 attendants wanted, and not the one they would have gotten on another night.
You've got to be possibly fair to Shamrock Rovers and say they defended well. You know, also our finishing was probably a little bit poor. But overall I was very pleased with the lads. I thought the effort and the application was there. We put in a great shift, as they say. You know, our quality wasn't great tonight. We didn't move the ball like we can. But after 2 games in a league campaign, I think everyone would accept that it's all works in progress.
We're delighted we had to defend late in the game. We had to defend our box, which we'd expect to have to do away from home in that situation. But we're delighted with the 3 points and the performance.
Cook's Sligo team wanted to get back to winning ways after slipping up at home to Shamrock Rovers last week. Stephen Alkin was at the Carlisle grounds.
So the momentum was very much with the Wanderers, but it was the Rovers who impressed. John Russell nearly giving the Bitter Red an early lead. Sligo passed the ball well and are pleasing on the eye, but they lacked the pace and the cutting edge in their play. Bray, for their part, set up very cautiously. And when John Dillon set up Alan Keane, Joe Kendrick was there to snuff out the danger. With just John Mulroy up front, Bray had 10 behind the ball. And Dillon set up Owen Doyle, but Matt Gregg was there to block his shot. Gary Dempsey, good passer of the ball, set up a rare home attack. Only Jay Kelly could tell you if that was an audacious shot or a miss-hit cross. The young forward is yet to score from open play this year. Sligo tried route 1 to good advantage. Matthew Blinkhorn's header giving Russell the chance. Bray came out all guns blazing after the interval. Probably harsh words said at half-time. If Lionel Messi had produced this bit of skill, we would have said it was world-class. Well, John Mulroy, take a bow. That was worthy of winning any game. At the other end, Gavin Pearce' diving header set up Owen Doyle for the miss of the season. So good, we thought you should see it twice. Doyle was replaced by Rafael Cretaro, and after Adam Mitchell's mistake, the man from Tubbercurry showed why he hasn't been in the starting 11 of late, though Matt Gregg stood up well. Sligo's last chance came in the dying seconds. Cretaro to Aaron Green, but the excellent Gregg was there again. The final whistle greeted with muted applause, a point very much better for Bray than Sligo.
We set our stall out, I suppose, to get a point, and we got it. And I suppose that probably sounds a little bit negative at home, but you know, the squad we've got and the squad they've got, I'm very happy getting a point. At the end of the season, that point might be very valuable to us. You know, we've missed a couple of good chances again tonight. You know, first half, John Russell's had a great chance, Raf's had a good chance. You know, when goals change games in any, you know, at any level you play at, you've got to score when you're on top. You know, Bray worked extremely hard, they got men behind the ball, and they made life difficult for us all night. They were always hitting us on the break. You know, and probably they think justifiably deserved the draw.
Yeah, we've been a bit on. Paul Cook's Sligo side were still missing the injured Joseph N'Doh, whilst Drogheda came into the game on a high after an excellent comeback against Derry last week. Peter Collins has this report.
Having won 1, drawn 1 and lost 1 in their opening 3 league matches this season, Sligo Rovers were eager to get another win under their belts. They got the ideal start. Richie Ryan's shot was pushed away by David Quirk, but John Dillon reacted quickest to put Rovers 1 up with just 4 minutes gone. 10 minutes later, Drogheda had a great chance to get back on level terms. A lovely exchange of passes between Colin and Mark O'Brien, but David Freeman couldn't keep his shot on target. It wasn't long before Sligo were back on the offensive though, and more trouble for Drogheda when Gareth Whelan was adjudged to have fouled Irla Davern in the area. Looks like a fairly straightforward decision for referee Paul Chute. Alan Keane struck the resulting penalty kick well, but it was expertly saved by Quirk. Sligo were creating chance after chance. The next one fell to Rafael Cretaro. His little dink went wide of the post. The offside flag had been raised anyway. Another sweeping move led to another Sligo Rovers chance. And this time it fell to Dillon, but he was denied by a combination of David Quirk and Philip Hand. Slick passing again personified in Sligo's next foray into the Drogheda half. Richie Ryan, Alan Kirby, Rafael Cretaro and Alan Keane all involved in the build-up to John Dillon's next chance, but the former Crewe Alexandra winger steered this one wide of the target. Rovers picked up where they left off in the second half. Surely a second goal wouldn't be long in coming. It looked on the cards when Kirby put Cretaro in the clear, but the Tubbercurry tornado still waiting to mark his Rovers return with a goal. Cretaro did put the ball in the net in the 60th minute. The chance came after David Quirk made another good save, this time from John Russell's shot, but frustratingly for Cretaro, the offside flag was raised once more. An anagram of Cretaro is creator, which is exactly what he became in the 68th minute. Aaron Green continued the move and the ball eventually broke for Russell. His shot came back off the crossbar, but showing a real poacher's instinct, John Dillon knocked in his and Sligo's second. It was a deserved win for Paul Cook's side. Their league challenge now very much up and running. For Drogheda, there's more work to do.
Thought at times tonight we moved the ball a lot better. You know, we're still finding our feet like everybody else. You know, we made a couple of changes tonight, and lads have come in and done really well. You know, and that's what the squad's about sometimes, having players that can come in, give you the lift. It's a long goal season, there's a long way to go. There's a lot of points to play for.
And it just shows you probably the difference between full-time professional football and part-time football. There were passages of play we had. I thought David Freeman had a chance to equalise after they had scored. But certainly we were up against a very good side tonight, and you know, I hold my hand up tonight.
The other Sean Connor's Galway team went into the game on a big high after winning away to Bows last week. Sligo Rovers were also looking for their second win on the spin. Hugh Cowell has this report.
Galway haven't had the best start to the new campaign, with just one win from 4 matches before Sligo's visit to Terryland Park on Friday night. Sligo didn't take long to settle in though. Jason McGuinness hit a beautiful long pass to release John Russell on the left. His cross eventually made its way to John Dillon, and the finish was as cool as you like in a 1-0 lead. The last 2 decent chances of the first half both fell to Sligo. The first saw Matthew Blinkhorn completely unmarked in the box. His free header though failed to hit the target. And then John Russell and Dillon combined once again in the build-up, but the goal scorer couldn't add to his tally, and the shot eventually went harmlessly wide. The visitors kept up the pressure after the break. Good work by Aaron Green to set up Russell once again. His shot was well saved though by Greg Fleming in the Galway goal. Galway had the post to thank for keeping out the next Sligo attack. Kirby and Russell once again involved in the build-up. Despite creating the space for the shot, Dillon could only watch as his effort smashed off the woodwork. At this stage, Galway were struggling to get anything going. Credit the defence for not conceding more. Dillon again involved here. The shot though from Alan Kirby, saved by a frustrated-looking Fleming. The home side's best opportunity came in the closing stages. Great work from Brian Cash to break free on the right. Alan Murphy's shot was palmed away by Clark in the goal. Joe Yoff couldn't capitalise with the resulting header. Sligo did have a couple of more chances to make sure of the win. Some hesitant Galway defending allowed, you guessed it, John Dillon to get in for the shot. He blasted over though, much to the frustration and the annoyance of Matthew Blinkhorn. The last move of the match saw Blinkhorn's neat touch put Aaron Green through on goal. He had the pace to beat the Galway defenders, but the finish was inches wide. So a first win for Paul Cook in Terryland Park in front of a pretty large crowd of just over 1,800. Sligo's impressive form sees them move up to second place behind Shamrock Rovers in the table.
When we got here tonight, and especially with the weather conditions, made it a little bit more difficult to play football. You know, but to come to Galway, you know, I think I might belong to the first time I've won here, and I've been in Sligo for 4 years. You know, so it really is a difficult place to play. You know, to get 3 points, we're delighted.
Sligo Rovers right now are probably one of the top 2 or 3 sides in the country, if not the top side in the country. So, you know, we've run them close here tonight. We've made them work really hard to get the 3 points, and you know, there's a lot of pluses for us as well.
Yeah. And a chance to go join top of the table was a great incentive for Paul Cook's side, while Pats made 4 changes going into the game after last week's 0-0 against Bows. John Kenny has this report.
Paul Cook's side had begun the season with the meanest of defences, conceding in only 1 game in their opening 7 in all competitions, and Brendan Clark on the Sligo goal, determined to keep that excellent run going. Just before the half hour, Sligo's John Russell worked an opening in the box, but his ball across couldn't pick out the emerging Matthew Blinkhorn or John Dillon. Sligo indeed finished the half the better. Blinkhorn in the clear on goal, but Ian Birmingham got back in time to avert the danger. The home side kept up the pressure. Alan Kirby's cross was only half cleared. Owen Doyle played the 1-2 with Blinkhorn, but Gary Rogers saved, and the St. Pat's keeper was quickly on his feet to save the second effort from the Sligo number 9. Brilliant keeping by Rogers. Right on the stroke of half-time, the St. Pat's frustrations began to boil over as David McMillan brought down Doyle and was booked by referee Padraig Sutton. From the resultant free kick, which was swung in by Doyle, Derek Foran shrugged off the attention of his marker. Once again, Rogers equal to it, and 0-0 at half-time after that breathtaking save. On the hour mark, St. Pat's finally got close to the Rovers' penalty area when Daryl Kavanagh was fouled by Iarlaith Davern, and he too found his way into the referee's notebook. St. Pat's captain Stephen Bradley took the free kick, which was on target, but Clark in a good position to flick over. Four minutes later, however, Sligo hit the front, and what a fine goal it was too. The sides met 7 times last season, 4 in the league, 2 in the Sestata Sports Cup and once in the EA Sports Cup, where they shared 15 goals. Alan Kirby was the man to open the goal-scoring books for this season between the two sides. Kirby's first goal for the club, and celebrations in the Sligo dugout. Kirby's finish giving Gary Rogers no chance. Kirby got a second 9 minutes after his first, and again a sweet passing move led to the goal. The ball beautifully teed up for Kirby, who had time to pick a spot and put the game virtually out of sight of St. Pat's. A really cool left-footed finish by Kirby. Rogers again with no chance. Daryl Kavanagh took a late corner for St. Pat's, which Ian Birmingham got ahead to, but his effort missed the angle. Substitute Joseph Ndo set up another sub, Rafael Guittaro, for a chance for number 3, but Rogers stopped the first effort, and Guittaro, with Aaron Green perhaps better placed, blazed over. A crowd of almost 2,500 on hand at the showgrounds, the majority very happy with a 2-0 win for Sligo, who now join the hoops at the top.
To be fair to their keeper, he's made a couple of absolutely smashing saves, really fantastic saves, and we pressed and we started to get to grips with the game. Do you know what, I thought we did get on top and deservedly won.
In this league, the first goal is crucial, and once they got the first goal, then we had to go, you know, kind of gung-ho to try and get something from the game. They caught us once or twice on the break, and second goal then just killed the game.
Yeah, Dundalk were hoping for more of the same from the Soccer Writers Player of the Month, Mark Quigley, while last week's hero Alan Kirby had to content himself with a place on the bench for Sligo. Damien O'Mara reports.
A frantic start at Oriel Park allowed for plenty of early chances. Jason Byrne given too much to do from Dean Bennett's first minute cross. No scoring start to Foster's 100th game in charge. Sligo could well have had a penalty within 3 minutes. Owen Doyle going down under close attention from Michael Hector will allow you to judge it for yourself. Referee Tom Connolly's view, the one that matters most. No penalty for Sligo. The visitors had further reason to feel downhearted from Dundalk's next attack. A sequence of unkind deflections, the ball falling to Jason Byrne, and few better strikers in the league to capitalise. Both sides carved out good chances. Darrell Horgan the next to go close, failing to test Peter Sherry from Ryan's corner. But the next set piece was to bear fruit. John Dillon's in-swinger sent goalward by Gavin Pearce. The sides a goal apiece after 33 minutes. And to be honest, it's surprising there weren't more first half goals. Rovers with some good play in midfield. Now Rafa Crataro's not renowned for his aerial ability, but he'll feel he should have hit the target after beating Simon Madden. And it was Sligo who could well have led at the break. Some more impressive play down the right wing. Horgan, Alan Keane and Cretaro combining. Horgan's shot bending the wrong side of the Dundalk post. Nail-biting time for Paul Cook. It took us until the start of the second half, but time for your weekly dose of Daniel Kern's trickery. Eventually allowed cross, too high for Byrne and out of reach for Hector. That was to mark the start of a busy period for the centre-back. As Sligo went on the attack, he was turned easily by Cretaro. His shot straight at Cherry, but Hector on hand to clear the Dundalk line from the ball back in. By now it was Foster's side who had the momentum, and much of their creativity, as you would imagine, fell to Mark Quigley. So impressive early this season. He took on much of the responsibility himself, and not put off by the presence of 6 players close at hand before getting his shot away. Now, you can't say he's not persistent, found on the next occasion by Colin Hawkins. This time a shot from long range, which Brendan Clark gathered at the second attempt. But what was possibly the game's best chance was still to come, and it fell to Sligo Rovers. John Russell would possession out wide. He eventually tried to lead the Dundalk defence on a merry dance, cutting back inside before teaming up with John Dillon. He found Owen Doyle. Doyle could only find the goalkeeper. The final chance was to fall to Dundalk. Quigley to have one last chance at securing the win. His free kick too high. Despite both sides having plenty of chances, just 2 goals to savour and the points shared. Full time, Dundalk 1, Sligo Rovers 1.
The lads give us everything. Yeah, it's very unlike the boys on Monday night, and we do put that down to a bad night at the office. They've been terrific for me and Jerry since we come to the club. Their effort and their application's been second to none, and tonight they put all that in again. We take a point from Dundalk, which is a very tough place to come. Anyone who leaves here this year with points are doing well.
Sligo are a wonderful team, but we've took them on tonight with the likes of Marr, Bulger, Osborne, Guthrie and Bennett coming off in the first half. That's 5 big plays for us. And I'm not sure how many other teams would have been able to put on a performance like that with that many injuries. So, it doesn't help us going into Monday night semi-final, but we're delighted with tonight's performance. We needed that.
Yeah, Dundalk and Paul Cook's men were hoping to bounce back, having been knocked out of the Setanta Cup in midweek. Bohemians went into the game unbeaten away from home this season. Commentary comes from George Hamilton and Owen Hand.
It forward, and it's hung up nicely for Flood, and Flood with an audacious little chip there, just wouldn't come down over Clark and into the Sligo net.
He plays it so early. Sligo were caught so square there, and really that was a great chance for Anto Flood to open the scoring.
No. It's Green, it's come a chance here, and a goal! Owen Doyle does it again.
Well, it was a bit of luck that got it to him. It was a ricochet off here. He didn't half take it well on his strong side there. He was on it like a flash. Great finish.
Forward by Burns. Jason McGuinness taking advantage of the breeze, who allowed it to bounce off his chest. Then it's Price getting the better of Owen Doyle, but now it's Alan Kane for Sligo, seeking Doyle. Doyle! Oh! That was so close! That was right out of nothing! And that was nearly 2.
His timing on there is absolutely brilliant. Great ball in from Alan Kane there.
Sligo to play football out of defence again. Dillon and Kane, who just loves to tank up that right-hand touchline. Clever little ball in. Russell, Dillon, off the upright. What a shot. Deserved better. Furious, what a shot.
Yeah, but it was the way he set it up for himself there. Lovely bit of skill.
Dillon on for Kane. Kane whipping it in there. Owen Doyle again.
Well, again, it's this attacking play from Alan Kane down this right-hand side there. And the positional sense of Owen Doyle. You see as this ball comes, he takes it with his weaker foot, the right foot there. But, you know, it's directed goalwards and it just goes over the top.
Bailey and Heary. And Heary for Buckley and back again for Heary. Green saw the danger, but Heary cleverly opened the gap. Oh, that's an opportunity, and Anto Flood knows it.
Down this right flank, it certainly is a favourite side for attacking here, but he shows persistence here. He just plays it into Anto Flood's path and he just drags it across the goal there.
But here's Brennan now for Bohemians. Killian Brennan, and Tears just saw the danger away, but Ollie Cahill's on the scene now, trying to force a way through. Oh, still might, they have, and it's Traynor who scored.
Bad defence from Sligo. Ollie Cahill actually does well here. It goes through Gavin Pearce, but Richie Ryan has a chance to get it away. Doesn't get it away, and it comes to Traynor, and he just pokes it in.
Free kick to Bowes. There's the pendulum swinging Bohemians' way. Brennan again to take the free kick. They've added an extra man to the attacking mix. Brennan with a shot. Oh, and chance is there. It's put in by Flood.
We must give full credit to Anto Flood. Just taking the opportunity, assuming that it's going to come to him then, and it's just to poke it past the goalkeeper when he doesn't hold it. The keeper must get that away, must get it out for a corner kick anywhere except what he did. But give credit to Flood for being there. What a turnaround.
That's Blinkhorn. Oh, O'Connor not able to hold on to it.
That was not meant there by Blinkhorn. Not trying to shot at goal anyway. It's just the ball just moved as he was going to cross it.
A sixth league game in a row for Sligo Rovers that they failed to beat Bohemians. 4 defeats, 2 draws. This the latest in that line of defeats. They took the lead through Owen Doyle, but goals from Stephen Traynor and Anto Flood take the points back to Dalymount Park. The final score in the showgrounds is Sligo Rovers 1, Bohemians 2.
We could have been out of the game, in fairness. After him, Sligo started really well and a couple of chances off the post and a couple of other chances, so it was difficult for the lads because we worked in team shape yesterday with Mark Rossiter and we had the change at the last minute, so looked like we were a little bit all over the place, but we got the grits for it. I thought last 15 minutes of the first half, and second half I thought we were tremendous.
In football can be a cruel game. We had a mad 5 minutes there and we got punished for it, and that happens. Do you know, that happens. There's no feeling sorry for yourself. Do you know, they had far more hunger and desire in the second half. They wanted to win second balls. Do you know, they put the ball in good areas and continually caused us problems. Do you know, and it's something that we have to learn quick, you know, because it's an unforgiving league. There's no such thing as where you'll turn up and you'll win a game and it's a rollover. Do you know, we're very disappointed. You know, we're here, we're disappointed, yeah.
And rightly. Now the two teams who are in action this afternoon, Sligo Rovers and Derry City, we'll see the goals from that in a second. But first of all, Sligo away to UCD on Friday night.
The first real chance fell to UCD, an ambitious effort from Robbie Creevy. Just as well, Brendan Clark was on his toes. The students opened the scoring. Moments later, Dean Marshall's corner picked out Robbie Benson and he steered in the opening goal. A bad surface and some slack passing presented Sligo with this opportunity. John Dillon had big claims for a penalty after he was brought down by Ger Barron. Paul Cook was furious with the officials. Richie Ryan then went close. 2 minutes later, his shot was just over. The visitors were on top but just couldn't find the back of the net. Davron went close here from a very tight angle. At the other end, Marshall had this chance, but his attempt came off the upright. Darren Meenan pounced on the loose ball, but Clark saved. Sligo should have equalised early in the second half. Barrett misjudged this situation, but he was let off the hook when Rafael Guattaro fluffed his lines. Matters were made worse for the visitors just before the hour mark, when Creevy's run and through ball wasn't defended well. The ball eventually found its way to Rusk, and he was on hand to make it 2-0. Sligo did pull a goal back 7 minutes from the end. John Dillon's cross found Matthew Blinkhorn, and his shot found its way into the back of the net. But it was too little, too late, and UCD secured their second win of the season. It finished UCD 2, Sligo Rovers 1.
Our first half performance where we not only defended well but we also passed the ball well. I think second half we defended well without passing the ball well, but we got over the line.
Do you know, at the minute things aren't going our way, but we've got to make them go our way. Do you know, at the minute we're a little bit of a soft touch and we're a little bit easy to beat. Do you know, we're not doing particularly well at the minute. It's up to the players, the management and myself to knuckle down, work harder and turn results around quickly.
It was all quiet on the Western Front until early in the second half. Eddie McCallion was the first of 4 players sent off for fouling Rafael Guattaro in the box. An easy call for referee Alan Kelly. Up stepped Owen Doyle to convert the spot kick. 1-0, 49 minutes gone. Just moments later, Derry's skipper Kevin Deary collected his second yellow card. For this challenge here, and without Deary, Derry were down to 9. Gavin Pearce also picked up a yellow card in a game that wasn't dirty despite the interventions of Ireland's best referee. Minutes later, Pearce had to go for simulation. Now it was going to be 10 against 9. "12 minutes from time, Sligo made the point safe. A handball in the penalty area and another penalty. Davy McDade with the yellow card for that transgression. Owen Doyle again beat Ger Doherty to make it 2-0. The scoring was rounded off 5 minutes from time. The evergreen Alan Kirby wrapping up the win for Sligo. 3-0 the final score. And then in the last minute, Emmett Friars became the 3rd Derry player to receive his marching orders. For that little trip there, the final score 3-0. The card count, Sligo 1 red, Derry 6 yellow and 3 reds.
Former Sligo man Gary McCabe started for the Hoops. He'd scored the winner when the sides met earlier in the campaign at the Showgrounds. Stephen Alkin has this report.
Shamrock Rovers adopted a narrow 4-3-3 formation, and with the aid of a very strong breeze in the first half, took a long time to settle into this match. The impressive Conor McCormack was twice involved, setting up in-form Carl Shepherd, but his shot was too high. The game was played in an excellent spirit throughout, but Ken O'Mahon's tackle from behind on Matthew Blinkhorn would come back to haunt him. Referee Anthony Buttimer played advantage, but the card was eventually issued once the ball went out of play. The home side settled into the game and produced some delightful football. Pat Sullivan, Gary McCabe and Ronan Finn in this fine move. Brendan Clark fumbled, but there was no Gary Twigg there to punish his mistake. The Hoops produced a fine goal on 35 minutes. The 2 Garys, O'Neill and McCabe involved in the build-up. The tireless McCormack down the side. And from his pinpoint cross, it was Carl Shepherd with the header. Scoring in his 5th game in a row, Irla Davron gave him far too much space. Almost immediately, Sligo had a chance to equalise. Ryan's cross, Jason McGuinness with the header, and Rafael Guattaro not quite the predator he once was. Early in the second half, the home side could have put this game to bed. McCabe's astute pass over the top. Shepherd was away, but from a wide angle his shot was easily saved by Clark. Paul Cook was his usual calm self on the line. His side were given an advantage when Ken Oman got himself needlessly sent off. Clark had possession, so there was no need for the whistle, but Oman prevented the keeper from taking the free kick, and Mr. Buttimer had an easy call to make. 2 yellows equals 1 red. Oman will miss Rovers' tricky visit to St. Pat's tonight. Kieran Kilduff came on for Gary O'Neill and he nearly scored. His shooting boots not quite adjusted as he missed the target. And against 10 men, Sligo finished the stronger and should have equalised in stoppage time. Russell set up Blinkhorn. He went for power when finesse was required. And Alan Mannis's important save meant that the Hoops have beaten Sligo 4 times now since the FAI Cup final. Surely retribution served. It's a case of Blinkhorn and you miss it. Michael O'Neill's side stay 3 points clear. Sligo are 6th. Final score, Hoops 1, Rovers 0.
We've lost 1 game, at home here at Bray, which maybe a lot of people didn't expect at the time, but maybe it was a good thing for us in a way. We've reacted well to that. You see tonight players that we've had who've been unavailable to us coming back into contention. Chris Turner come in tonight off the bench, and we still have Twig and O'Donnell and Sevis to come into contention as well.
A lot of people offered us up as title contenders, and at the start of the season we were trying to play that down a little bit, in fact, because it was only on the last day of the season last year that we actually got to 3rd place. We were never in the top 4 all year, but on the last day we jumped above St. Patrick's with a 4 minutes into stoppage time goal. From there we were elevated as the team to challenge Shamrock Rovers. I think that's been a little bit disrespectful to a lot of other teams like Derry, Dundalk, St. Patrick's, Bohemians. There's a lot of strong teams in the league. There's no easy places to go and win, and you have to work hard for every point.
Two sides to have suffered defeats the previous Friday, and Rovers made the brighter start. Owen Doyle on target after 13 minutes. These two sides shared the points in their previous meeting at the Carlisle grounds, and Bray drew level on the half hour. Jason McGuinness and Kieran Kelly getting their lines wrong, and Conor Murphy on hand to capitalise. Keeper not happy with his defender not happy with his keeper. And poor Benny was so upset he lost his bearings, but Devo soon set him straight. Most observers have pinpointed the lack of goal-scoring threat as Sligo's main problem this season, and they may have found their hero in Owen Doyle. He turned in Alan Kirby's centre for his 2nd of the game. With 22 minutes remaining, Doyle sealed it and claimed the match ball with a fine finish as Rovers notched 3 for the 2nd time in successive home matches.
With 2 cooks at the helm, Nick and Paul, would it be a case of spoiling the broth, or would they serve up a tasty treat of a game? Who writes this stuff? John Kenny reports.
Drogheda were looking for their first win of the season against Sligo on Friday night, and they were under pressure from the off. Owen Doyle diverted a goalward shot, which Stephen Trimble did well to save. He also saved the follow-up, and Sligo couldn't force the ball home. Trimble was a busy keeper early on. Good Sligo build-up play. The ball was fed through to John Russell, but Trimble was sharp coming from his line to avert the danger. Drogheda created a couple of half chances in the first half. A free kick found Killian Thompson, whose shot couldn't find the net. Mick Cook's men had found their feet now, and they were lucky not to hit the front midway through the half. The ball bounced around the Sligo area for an awful long time, with defenders seemingly uninterested in taking control. The ball eventually found its way to Phil Hand, who just missed with a cracking, dipping volley. But, as so often this season, Drogheda's defending let them down, although credit to Sligo for working the opening. Iarlaith Davarin with the pass, and Owen Doyle beat Trimble with the low shot, and 1-0 to the visitors at half-time. The visitors continued to press in the second half, and what a goal this would have been as Kane set up Richie Ryan, who was desperately unlucky to see his shot hit the crossbar. Sligo doubled their advantage 15 minutes from time. Again, poor defending from the home side, allowing Daverin to get down the line. He crossed, and substitute John Dillon headed in past Trimble for 2-0. All smiles now on the Sligo bench. And then Trimble showed what a fine keeper he is as he saved a shot from Dillon, who was looking to add to his earlier goal. Time was running out from Mick Cook's side, and neat footwork by Joseph Endo set up Doyle, who should really have scored his second. Really enterprising play there from Endo. Doyle, however, didn't have long to wait for another goal. Kane with the ball into the box. Doyle got between the two defenders, and his free header found the net for 3-0. A comfortable win in the end for the visitors. In Hunky Dory's Park, it finished Drogheda United 0, Sligo Rovers 3.
I thought we played well tonight. We really did. We passed the ball well, we moved the ball, we created chances, and we put chances away at good times in the game. You know, and goals always change games. It's important. We've had a couple of games this year where we haven't scored at the correct time, or we've allowed the team back in. You know, and as I say, we just seem to be finding our feet a little bit now and seem to be getting a little bit of fun.
On the back of the performances that we've given so far, we haven't had any really heavy defeats, and the small bit of confidence we have is still there. And we'll build on it, and I think the performances are getting better over the last few weeks. So I'm quietly confident myself that we will still avoid relegation.
Paul Cook's Sligo Rovers side have been on a very good run recently, helped in no small way by the goals of Owen Doyle, who's on a hot streak. Could he keep it up? Damien O'Mara has the answer.
Sligo quickly set about getting their evening's work done against the much weakened Galway United side on Saturday, and they took the lead after just 16 minutes. Aaron Green released on the left. His cross helped home by Owen Doyle. And it would take just 5 minutes more for that lead to be doubled. This time Green again involved, his initial shot blocked by Greg Fleming. John Russell on hand to fire home his first goal of the campaign from the rebound. And in fairness, it looked like one of those nights where the floodgates could well have been about to open. Again, poor defending from Galway allowed Sligo rampage. Richie Ryan played in, he's the first to go close. His shot blocked straight into the path of Alan Keane. Poor shot, but could he have a shout for a penalty? Nervy times for Sean Connor. It was to be a busy night for Fleming in the Galway goal, and Doe's cross aided on its way by Sean Kelly. John Russell denied by a brave save. Jason McGuinness was the next to try and get on the score sheet. His header from Endo's corner touched over the crossbar. Paul Cook and the Sligo supporters were still left wondering how it wasn't 3 by the break. Doyle really won't want to see this. Put through, should have found the target but found the post. But the striker who has been so prolific this season would soon get his second, and Doe splitting the defence, Keane's ball headed home by Doyle for his 10th of the campaign. Further celebrations were cut short soon afterwards. Russell thought he had netted a 4th, but Green's cutback adjudged to have gone out of play. A mix-up in the Sligo defence almost conspired to give Galway an unlikely goal. Jason McGuinness and Kieran Kelly getting in each other's way. The deflection, the right side of the post for Sligo's liking. In the end, a comfortable victory for Rovers, who moved second in the table. Full-time score, Sligo Rovers 3, Galway United 0.
Winning or losing here tonight wasn't going to ensure we stay in this division. We've got a battle against Drogheda and UCT, and I'm still confident that the players that we have here and the players we have to come back in will give us top of that pile, and that's what we've got to do.
We're on a decent run at the minute, and we've picked up a few points, we're scoring a couple of goals, and it's going well. But in football things change very quick, both positively and negatively, and what you have to do is just keep focused on what you're trying to do, keep playing football and trying to win football games.
So there we see the text. St Pat's themselves run an unbeaten run of 7. The visitors Sligo, as I was saying, could go top with all 3 points. Giovanni Trapattoni and Marco Tardelli were at this one. Damien O'Mara reports.
Getting that all-important result for Sligo was made difficult from the outset, with Pats waiting just 4 minutes for their opening goal to come. Anto Murphy breaking up a Sligo attack. He freed Danny North, and once the striker came into possession, there was just one thing on his mind. Ideal start for the home side, the striker's 5th goal of the campaign. Pats very much on their way to becoming the form team in the league after a poor run early on. Indeed, it was they who had the best of the first half chances. Danny North and Stephen Bradley combining well on this occasion. Bradley played in, unable to test the goalkeeper. No reason for the fans to celebrate on this occasion. Bradley will know he should have done better. And despite being under the cosh for much of the first half, the visitors managed to redress the deficit in the final minute of the opening period. Some swift passing helping them build a move out of defence. Aaron Green doing much of the damage, running unstopped against the St. Pat's defence. His cross eventually falling nicely into the path of Alan Kirby. The travelling Bitter Red fans given good reason to cheer. Game on at half-time. And Green started the second half as he ended the first, a catalyst for much of Sligo's pressure. Call for possible handball by Harney from Green's cross. Kirby firing over from the rebound. More uncertainty in the Sligo defence on show on Thursday. Darrell Kavanagh almost taking advantage. It was to be the start of a flurry of chances. Joey and Doe trying to create a lead goal for Sligo. It wasn't to be from the set piece. Darrell Kavanagh next to go close for Pats. So impressive early this season, but he too failed to find the target. As the second half progressed, it looked like either side could well nab the lead and the victory. Joey and Doe so talented at unlocking defences, playing in Danny Ventry on this occasion. But the substitute failed to really test Gary Rogers. And as Sligo regrouped, the Pats goalkeeper quickly set about launching a counter-attack. Some good link-up play on show here between Derek Doyle and Darrell Kavanagh. The tip man attempting to take on Gavin Pearce, but as he cut back inside, obstructed illegally by the Sligo defender. Free kick in a dangerous position despite Pearce's attempts at the recreation. Could Pats make something of the resulting free kick? In short, no. Jordan Keegan firing well over. But a third goal of the night would come. It would come late and again go to Pats and North. Some very patient build-up play. A move started by Keegan. Mulcahy and Kavanagh also involved. Keegan again found in possession. He played in Danny North. And as if it was needed, a further demonstration of just what he's capable of. Fantastic strike to secure the win for St. Pat's. Sligo's hopes of a draw dashed 4 minutes into stoppage time. North celebrating in front of a jubilant home crowd. No time left on the watch for Sligo to try and draw level. It means Paul Cook's side fall to a 5th league defeat of the season. St. Pat's resurgence continues, unbeaten now in 8 games. Full time at Richmond Park, St. Patrick's Athletic 2, Sligo Rovers 1.
In fairness, it was a wonder strike. Could have gone anywhere. He put it in the only place really where the keeper couldn't get to it. It was a great strike, and it was a win that we probably hit a bonus. I mean, I think a draw would have been a fair result. In fairness, Sligo got battered us there for about 15 minutes second half, and we had to really hold on. But we're playing against the best team in the league, in my opinion anyway, best football team in the league, and to beat them, we've a good record here against them recently, so no, it was a great win for us, no doubt about that.
It's cruel, isn't it? But that's football. Do you know, to be fair to St. Patrick's, they're on a good run. They scored 2 goals in the game at great times, you know, for themselves, 3 or 4 minutes in the 94th minute. You know, defensively, we weren't great tonight, do you know, and it's very disappointing to lose. But I think what the league's proven to everyone over the course of the season, that these hiccups are going to come along for teams. It's important you regroup quickly, you get focused and you get back to winning ways.
Well, the Limerick side recently captured the FAI Junior Cup and boasting a history of more than 70 years in the game. Could this be their biggest day out yet? Eamon Donoghue has the answer.
Despite coming to the end of a long season, Pike appeared the fresher, more hungry side for large parts and gave an indication of what they were about when Dave Ryan's shot was ruled out for offside, much to the striker's annoyance. The officials were certainly in the thick of it, as straight from the restart there was another big decision to be made. Darrell Horgan taken down and a penalty awarded. With the ball finished in the net, no advantage was given, much to Alan Kirby's frustration. Alan Keane, usually deadly from the spot, got it wrong as it remained scoreless at the break. No let up in Pike's intensity and work rate after the restart, and John Tierney was denied in spectacular fashion by Brendan Clark. Desperate times called for desperate measures, and Sligo introduced Richie Ryan and Raf Guittaro. Paul Cook would claim this was Sligo's worst performance in his 4.5 years, and here you'll see why. Owen Hanrahan causing damage down the left, and Colm Carroll on hand to open the scoring. Worth the long journey for those Pike fans. Half an hour from a major upset, Sligo finally got a foothold in the game. Jason McGuinness with the equaliser. That trick worked so well, the home side repeated the dose 6 minutes later when McGuinness grabbed his second. Experience was called for, and Alan Kirby has plenty of that, with 3 cup winners' medals to his name. Here he started the move that led to the third. Curtaro's shot deflecting off Brian Cleary, meaning those fans could sit a little more easily in their seats. Gary Neville looking frustrated. Matthew Blinkhorn has found himself frozen out in recent weeks, giving lie to rumours about his future. He was keen to show Paul Cook just what an asset he can still be. With 5 minutes to go and the sun apparently setting on Pike's Cup adventure to give Sligo a further scare, Ryan getting the better of McGuinness and Clark to give his side a lifeline. But it wasn't enough. 3-2 the final score, the holders through to the 4th round, but only just, it must be said.
Lads start believing that they're good players, and without hard work and desire, you're never a good player. Good players turn up week in, week out, and they win games and they win medals. You know, players who think they're good end up winning nothing. And tonight, fair credit to Pike Rovers, they were a credit to themselves and the club. They had a hunger and a desire about them that kept going, and they caused us problems all night, and there was no safe result for us tonight, that's for sure.
Oh, the lads were fantastic. I'm actually disappointed we didn't win the game. I think we had better chances. I think the last 20 minutes we got tired, but all credit to the lads. It was our 50th match this season, and for the minutes to come here and perform like that, you know, it's great credit, and to the club as well. It's fantastic day for the club.
And for Sligo, though, did have the Player of the Month, Owen Doyle, in their starting lineup, the 23-year-old with 9 goals in 5 matches in May, and they had a couple of ex-gypsies in their ranks too. Watching this one, Adrian Eames.
A spicy encounter at Dalymount Park with 2 red cards brandished in the opening 21 minutes. The first after just 7, when Danny Joyce, on his full league debut for Bows, was given a straight red for a dangerous challenge on Sligo skipper Richie Ryan. 19-year-old Joyce, recently released by Reading, can have no complaints. Referee Damien Hancock issued 9 cards on the night, but by and large it was a game played in the right manner. 2 minutes after the Joyce sending off, Gavin Pearce picked up a yellow card for obstructing the run of Killian Brennan. With the rain bucketing down, Sligo had the first effort of note, although Alan Kirby's efforts scarcely troubled Chris O'Connor in the Bohemians' goal. With Sligo dominating, numerical parity was restored after 21 minutes. Gavin Pearce got himself in a right old muddle in dealing with the threat of Anto Flood, and in an attempt to win back possession, the Sligo defender clattered into the back of Flood. It was clear what was coming next. A second yellow for Pearce, both sides down to 10 men. With the ball zipping around on the pacey surface, Jason McGuinness decided to have a pop at goal. His radar, though, well off target. Not too much to get excited about on the pitch, but the scenery was pretty eye-catching. Bowes almost gifted Sligo the lead when Sligo man Mark Rossiter saw his pass seized upon by John Dillon. Dillon tried to tee it up for Owen Doyle, but Bowes got bodies back to cut out the danger. Sligo had lost on each of their last 3 previous visits to the capital, but they continued to look the more likely side. Raf Kataro's cross, John Dillon thwarted by a brave challenge by Chris O'Connor. Dillon close to giving Sligo the lead. O'Connor sustained a nasty facial injury in the collision and was replaced in goal by Barry Murphy. Neither manager exactly happy as they left the pitch at the interval. Sligo dominated the possession stakes for much of the game, but lacked the required cutting edge to really open up Bowes, although Alan Kirby should have added to his 5-goal haul this season. Richie Ryan's skill and vision earned him the Player of the Season award in 2010. He brilliantly picked out the run of Owen Doyle. Doyle was forced wide, but he laid it back for Aaron Green. Green, on in place of the injured Irla Davern early in the second half, took on Keith Buckley and delivered a teasing ball. Pitaro at full stretch, so his angled header dipped just over the crossbar. Owen Doyle hit 9 league goals in 5 games in May for Sligo and was unfortunate not to grab his first in June. Doyle's mazy run ended with a stylish effort. Murphy relieved to see the ball rebound off the woodwork. Bowes almost snatched it 6 minutes from time. Christy Fagan, on in place of Anto Flood, was denied by a fingertip save by Brendan Clark. So then Sligo's search for a win in the capital goes on. Bohemians maintain their solid start to the season. At Delhiman Park it finished Bowes 0, Sligo Rovers 0.
And again, you know, it's 0-0. We probably had a chance or two. Bowes missed a good chance late on. So you'd probably say a draw's a fair result, maybe.
In the end, you're probably happy that we take a point, but when you play at home, no matter who it is, because we feel we're capable of beating anybody here. I don't think anybody's come here and played us off the park, you know, and, you know, you're hoping that you can pick up 3 points at home, but we've taken 4 off Sligo out of 6, so I suppose it's not a bad return.
So there's the Premier Division table, obviously before tonight's games. Rovers now 3 points clear of Bray.